What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. I hope the week treated y'all well, and happy Friday to everybody. The weekend is here. We can grind out some lovely Iron Banner together, testing out some new Solar 3.0 things. Lots of content to come with builds, just like this one that we have here today. A little requested one from the Discord, so if you haven't got in there yet, link is in the description. Go ahead and join up on that. Love to talk Destiny, love seeing all those new faces in there. So the build that we are talking about, as you can see in the gameplay behind me, is a nice golden gun build that revolves around becoming radiant and having that restoration on you, as well as scorching enemies and making them ignite. I love using this right now within that PvE realm, getting a lot of those knife defeats as well as grenades. Plus we're bringing out a weapon that hasn't been utilized, for me at least, until Solar came out here. So before I get started on the details of this build here at the very end, we are going to have one variation of it. I just haven't got the armor piece that I'm looking for to give me the stats yet. So what we're looking for in that is 100 mobility and 100 resilience, because 100 resilience right now is correct inside of Destiny. It helps so much with taking damage and staying alive in that PvE content. And then for our hunter, obviously we're going mobility, so we are able to dodge a lot. So to get into the build right here, we're going to go over our weapons first, followed by our super, and then we're going to move into the mods after that. So starting out right here, I have the Submission SMG from our Vow of the Disciple raid. Still looking for one more red border weapon so I can craft the enhanced version. This is the best one that I got between this and the Adept versions. Subsistence Frenzy is absolutely beast on this SMG. Moving on, we actually have Subsistence Frenzy on this bad boy as well, from the 30th anniversary with Dares of Eternity, Retrace Path Trace Rifle with that bad boy Solar Burn. This thing absolutely rips and pairs perfectly with that solar damage. Finally, the King of Kings for our rockets and our heavy with the solar subclass right here, the Gallahorn rocket launcher. Nothing else needs to be said about this bad boy, just throw it on if you have it for this build. Moving on to our super here, like I said, we're going to be using Golden Gun actually, just because a lot of people have been using Blade Barrage with that burst damage, but I personally am a fan of this Goldie Gun build that I have been using right here. So we're going to be using Deadshot, which causes ignitions when your solar super is active, and it refunds a Golden Gun round. Benefits also become radiant, so you're becoming radiant and causing explosions, those ignitions, when you're getting defeats with the Golden Gun here, and that just plays perfectly into the build. For our abilities, we're going to go Acrobats Dodge, so every time we dodge, we're going to be landing, making us and our nearby allies radiant, and we also do a little bit of damage on those enemies. Jump is totally a preference. I prefer triple jump in PvE activities. Now this is where it can change a little bit for me with this build and Bombardiers. I'm going with the lightweight knife. This is super nice because, again, precision hits with this knife make you radiant again. So we're building on that radiant just everywhere with our dodge and getting precision hits with this weighted knife right here. Now, if we throw on our other exotic, which I will talk about in a second, we will probably be using proximity explosive knives, because the exotic is new from the season in gauntlets that give us a little extra oomph to our proximity knives. But for now, we're running the lightweight knife for that radiant reason. On top of that, for our grenade, we're going to be running Thermite Grenade. I just purely think that this is the best one for solar, in my personal opinion, at least for certain subclasses. And then again, we're getting Scorch and igniting people with our knife as well as our grenade here. For our aspects, we're going to actually be using Knock 'em Down, so our solar supers are enhanced, so our Deadshot has increased duration. And on top of that, while we are radiant, final blows with your equipped knife fully refunds your melee energy. So becoming radiant via a dodge or getting that precision hit with this, we become radiant, and then every single time we have a final blow with that throwing knife, we get our melee back instantly, so we can just huck knives all around as long as we're radiant, getting those precision final blows and final blows to keep proccing radiant, and then get that throwing back knife just instantly. Now for this might be debatable. For me, I'm gonna go with on your mark for a few different reasons. One, we have 3 fragment slots available for this aspect, so that is super nice to have 5 total, instead of if you throw on Gunpowder Gamble, you only have 1 fragment slot, which brings us down to only 3 total fragments. Now, Gunpowder Gamble is nice, having that solar ability defeats and solar debuff defeats, has that improved grenade where you throw it and can explode it, but me personally, having on your mark just fits better with this build. So every time we dodge, we're maxing out those stacks at 3 to get increased weapon handling and reload speed. So the reload speed is really what I'm looking for, so we can really just keep on reloading fast, keep letting our retrace path rip down the field. Now for our fragments here, they stack very, very well with this build. So first off, we have Ember of Solence, so our radiant and our restoration effects applied to you have increased duration, so we're going to be getting radiant again those few different ways via our knife and our dodge, and then we're also going to be getting restoration via our dodge because of Class D Restoration, our artifact mod for this season. Moving on, right here we have Ember of Torches, so those powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant, so this just pairs, kind of double dips with our melee right here with our knife. Just getting those final defeats and powered melee attacks alone will just create radiant for us again. Moving on, right here, defeating scorched targets grants us melee energy, so all of those scorched targets that we're going to be creating via our melee and our grenade are going to give us melee energy back when they defeat. Next off, right here, we have Ember of Wonder. Rapidly defeating multiple targets with solar ignitions generates us orbs of power, so that's a nice little extra way via all those explosions and scorch stacks that we're going to be getting via our grenades and melees. Those will cause those nice explosions, which cause orbs of power to drop, which we'll just be using to get our gunslinger class back faster. So last but not least here for our fragments, I had to come back because I was already done with the video, hence the different outfit here, but we're going to be throwing on Ember of Empyrean, so solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant applied to you. So with all those ways that we are getting radiant and restoration with just our dodge with Class C restoration, as well as Acrobat's dodge right here, we are going to be just keeping that up for so long with all of our grenades, throwing knives, as well as that retrace path. Now, like I stated before, we're going with 100 mobility and then also 100 resilience on this build with our bombardiers as our exotic. Now, the difference that I was talking about earlier, instead of bombardiers, I'm looking for a good roll with high resilience and mobility for these gauntlets right here. So we have improved proximity knife effectiveness and regeneration speed, so it is a way better way to get proximity knives back faster and just have a better way of throwing those knives. Not saying bombardiers are bad, but I'm excited to get a better roll and try out those proximity knives as well. But the mods, if I do switch over to those gauntlets, will be exactly the same as what we have here on this build. You will just have to switch out your bombardiers for those arms. So for our mods right here, we are going to have Harmonic Siphon first off, so rapidly defeating enemies with solar weapons because we're using a solar subclass, so our retrace path or Galahorn will also create us orbs of power to just get our super back faster. Trace Rifle Ammo Finder for our retrace path, as well as Melee Wellmaker, so when we have basically those infinite throwing knives, as long as we're radiant and making connection with targets, we will be able to spawn elemental wells that are solar. Now, picking up those elemental wells, again, just give us a little bit of energy for our lowest whatever ability we have. Moving on here, we have Fastball for just throwing those grenades a little bit better with Overload Trace Rifle for our retrace path, so that thing can slap out those Overload champions, as well as Elemental Ordnance, so when we're throwing those grenades all over the place, getting those Scorch and Explosions, we are going to be getting another set of Elemental Wells that are solar via that. Moving on to our chest piece right here, because my armor is lacking a little bit, I did have to throw on Powerful Friends so I can get up to 100 mobility, so that's just a little caveat of it. If I didn't have Powerful Friends on here, I would probably have a Font of Might on here. Now moving on to our legs, our bombardiers right here, it's super nice. So when we dodge, we leave behind an explosive that detonates after a short delay, damaging targets around it. And because we are solar, that grenade that is dropped via the dodge is going to cause Scorch on targets, which just applies perfectly to Solar 3.0, stacking those up via our fragments and causing those ignitions. Now, on top of that, when we pick up Orbs of Power, we're going to be getting our grenade back faster, which is nice because we do have pretty low discipline right here. So when we pick up those Orbs of Power that we created via our different paths, explosions, our super, and then also Harmonic Siphon with our solar weapons, we will be getting our grenade back even faster. And last but not least, probably our two most important mods for this build, which basically help us become indestructible and super tanky for a hunter by staying radiant and then also restoration. So every time we dodge with our class ability, we are going to have that restoration procced on us. And then every time we pick up solar elemental wells, we have increased regeneration as well for our health. So we're going to be creating those elemental wells basically everywhere with our weapons that are solar, as well as our grenade and our knife. So every time we pick those up, we're going to start healing. Every single time we dodge, we're going to become radiant, have on your mark proc, and have classy restoration proc. So it is a perfect synergy for solar here, and the DPS is pretty nice because of Galahorn. And even if you shoot all 6 of your Goldie gun shots at the target, it is also pretty nice for DPS. You can wipe out basically everything except for final bosses in one single super. So hopefully you guys enjoy this build as much as I do. I have enjoyed the Solar 3.0 changes so far. Still playing with them and figuring out some fun ways to make everything fit together for all of our classes. So be on the lookout for more builds coming our way, with a Titan and a Warlock one coming next. But for my hunters out here, enjoy this Golden Gun build. I know, like we've said in the request from Discord, seen a lot of Blade Barrage builds, but not too many Goldie builds. So me personally really like this one, with a couple alternate options if you happen to not have Bombardiers and have those exotic gauntlets, or vice versa, something like that. You can really switch this one up and make it work no matter what with those mods and fragments that I was talking about. So once again, thank y'all for watching. I hope this helped y'all out. I truly appreciate the support lately. I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.